Breaking news out of Chicago. A surprising name just stepped into Halas Hall. A former weapon from Ben Johnson's system is now on the Bears' radar. And that's not all. Could the Bears also be eyeing help on the edge? Something big might be brewing at training camp. Let's break it all down, and trust me, you don't want to miss this. But before we dive into the latest Bears updates, if you're a true fan of the Chicago Bears and want all the breaking news, roster moves, and game-changing rumors, this is the place for you. Hit that subscribe button, like the video, and don't forget to tap the bell icon so you never miss an update. Alright, now let's jump into today's headline. DJ Chark works out with the Bears. The Chicago Bears quietly brought in veteran wide receiver DJ Chark for a workout, and this move has caught a lot of attention. Why is this surprising? Because the Bears' wide receiver room is already loaded with talent. No one expected them to look at another pass catcher this late in the offseason, especially not someone like Chark, who hasn't been in the spotlight lately. But there's more to this visit than meets the eye. Chark isn't just any receiver. He once had a 1,000-yard season with the Jaguars back in 2019. Since then, injuries have slowed him down, and his most recent season with the Chargers saw limited action, just 7 games played. So why is Chicago even considering him? Well, here's the twist. In 2022, Chark played for the Detroit Lions under Ben Johnson, now a hot name in offensive coaching circles. That was Johnson's first full year calling plays, and Chark managed to put up 500 yards and 3 touchdowns, showing flashes of his deep threat ability. Even after battling injuries across his career, Chark has totaled over 3,000 receiving yards in the NFL. That kind of experience and explosiveness doesn't just get ignored, and it could be what the Bears are exploring right now. Could DJ Chark actually fit in Chicago? At first, the idea of DJ Chark in a Bears uniform might not sound exciting. But when you look closer, it starts to make real sense. Why? Because Chark isn't starting from scratch. He already knows Ben Johnson's system. He played in it back in 2022 with the Lions. Sure, the Bears' offense won't be an exact copy of Detroit's. This scheme is being built specifically around Caleb Williams, but a lot of the language, route concepts, and structure will feel familiar to Chark. That gives him a head start. And here's the real twist. Chark brings something the Bears' receiver room doesn't really have, a true X-receiver. At 6'3" and over 200 pounds, he's the kind of big-bodied wideout who can line up on the outside, win jump balls, and stretch the field vertically. Right now, only Rome Odins fits that mold, and even he's just a rookie. Most of the other receivers on the roster are built for quickness, shifty, smaller guys who thrive after the catch. But if Rome were to miss time, who steps into that X role? Jalen Waddle? Too small. Tyler Scott? More of a slot weapon. Miles Boykin and Jalen Walker have the size, but let's be honest. Boykin's bounced around the league without much production, and Walker's a rookie dealing with injury issues. Chark, meanwhile, has multiple seasons with over 16 yards per catch. His career average is over 14. That's elite-level big play ability. He doesn't need 10 targets a game to make an impact. Just one deep shot can change the momentum. Bringing him in now during July or August would give him time to get comfortable without having to learn everything from scratch. And if the Bears want depth behind O'Dunn's, or just more size on the field, Chark could be a smart move. No, he's not a guaranteed star, but his experience, size, and history in Ben Johnson's offense make him a name worth watching closely. Is DJ Chark worth a spot on the 53-man roster? DJ Chark has played 7 seasons in the NFL, racking up over 3,100 receiving yards and 24 touchdowns, and that's despite injuries slowing him down. When healthy, he's shown the ability to stretch the field and make big plays. That kind of experience is hard to ignore. Now, let's be clear, if the Bears were to sign him, he wouldn't be handed a spot. He'd have to earn it, especially since he's not a special teams guy. And in today's NFL, most backup receivers are expected to contribute on special teams if they're not starters. That could be a challenge. But here's why this still makes sense. Imagine a wide receiver room with DJ Moore as your WR1, lined up mostly at Z. Rome Odun's at the X, your future star. Luther Burden and Olamide Zakos battling for the slot. Tyler Scott and Doris Fountain as potential backups at C. Now add DJ Chark into the mix as your backup X, that big outside threat who can win contested catches and give you size in the red zone. It's a crowded room, sure, but that's a good problem. Let's say the Bears sign him for the veteran minimum. If he makes the team, great, you've got a guy who could catch 25 to 40 passes, rack up 300 to 500 yards, and be a real contributor when needed. If not, you move on, no risk, no regret. He doesn't need to be the guy he was back in Jacksonville. The Bears wouldn't need him to carry the offense. His job would be simple. Come in, compete for a spot, and if you make it, be that reliable boundary weapon. Maybe 20 snaps a game, maybe fewer, just make it count. And keep this in mind, 4 of Chark's 7 seasons ended with over 500 yards. That's not elite, but it is consistent. If not for a couple injury setbacks, that number could easily be 5 or 6 seasons. So does he have all-pro upside at this stage? Probably not. But as a depth piece, for the right price, he's worth a serious look. Low risk, high reward, the case for DJ Chark. Let's be real, DJ Chark is coming off a rough season. Just 4 catches in 7 games, and injuries kept him on the sideline most of the year. So yes, there are question marks, but if we're talking about a veteran minimum deal, this could still be a smart move. There's basically no risk involved. If he doesn't look good in camp, you move on. No harm done. But if he flashes the deep threat ability he's shown before, then suddenly you've added a big play weapon to an already talented receiver room for almost nothing. So would you take that chance? Now, DJ Chark wasn't the only one the Bears brought in for a workout. In total, 6 players were evaluated, a mix of receivers, tight ends, and defensive depth pieces. Here's who else visited Halas Hall. Matt Landers, wide receiver, a name that hasn't made much noise yet but could be a developmental piece. Hayden Hendershot, tight end, spent time with the Cowboys and Chiefs, mostly as a T3 or T4. He could enter the mix behind Durham Smythe, Joel Wilson, and Stephen Carlson. Thomas Garden, another tight end option, though likely a long shot to make the roster. Chance Campbell, linebacker, a spot where the Bears could use more depth heading into camp. Jerian Owens, safety, not a household name, but safety is another position where an extra body could be useful as competition heats up. Keep in mind, when teams bring in players like this, any signing usually happens fast, often within 24 to 48 hours. So if the Bears are serious about Chark or any of these names, don't be surprised if news drops soon. This is exactly the type of late off-season maneuvering that helped shape the final roster. Quiet moves now can lead to surprise contributors in September. And remember, this isn't about finding stars, it's about adding the right fits, solid backups, and players who might just carve out a role when the moment comes. Could Jadeveon Clowney be the missing piece for the Bears' defense? Jadeveon Clowney is back in the headlines, and yes, the Bears should absolutely be paying attention. Veteran reporter Yosina Anderson recently spoke with Clowney, and the former number 1 overall pick made his stance clear. I'm still planning to play this season. I've been in touch with 4 to 5 teams. Now sure, some of that might be agent talk. You know how it goes this time of year. A little noise here, a little buzz there, but when Clowney says teams are calling, it's believable. Why? Because even if he's not the star many thought he'd become, he's still a very productive edge defender. Let's get this straight. Clowney was never going to live up to that mythic hype he carried out of South Carolina. He was supposed to redefine the position, dominate every snap, and become a future Hall of Famer. That never happened. But that doesn't mean he's been a bust. In fact, far from it. He's carved out a strong NFL career as a physical, aggressive edge rusher who sets the tone against the run and can still create pressure when it counts. He's averaged around 7 sacks per season with 60-plus sacks total in his career. That's not elite, but it's dependable. And last year, still solid. 44 total pressures, 12.7% pressure rate, well above league average. A Pro Football Focus grade over 70, meaning he's still bringing value on the field. Even if he's not the guy who can play 60 snaps a game anymore, he's still got juice in the tank. Limited reps? Sure, but smart, targeted usage could get you real production. Now ask yourself this, how many edge defenders on the Bears roster are proven difference makers outside of Montez Sweat? Maybe one more. That's it. Clowney wouldn't have to come in and carry the defense. He'd simply need to be a complementary force, someone who gives the pass rush a boost and helps set a physical tone. If Chicago wants to go deeper in 2024, adding a veteran presence like Clowney, even on a short deal, could be a smart, low-risk, high-impact move. why signing a veteran edge rusher still makes sense for the Bears. When you look at the Bears' current edge depth, Montez Sweat is clearly the anchor. But after that, things get a little less certain. Sure, Deo Odeyingbo might be in that above-average tier, but beyond him, you're hoping someone steps up. If Austin Booker develops fast enough to reach that level this year, incredible. If Daniel Hardy or Dominique Robinson suddenly levels up, that's great too. But right now, all of that is still unknown. And that's exactly why adding a proven veteran like Jadeveon Clowney makes so much sense. He's not elite anymore. He's not the force he was coming out of South Carolina. He's still productive, reliable, and knows how to play the position the right way. In a limited role, say 40 to 45 snaps per game, which is around 50 to 60% of the workload, he's more than capable. That's exactly what he gave last season, and the impact was noticeable. Pressure on the quarterback, solid edge setting, and leadership in the trenches. Even someone like Zadarius Smith would fit that mold. Either one would give the Bears a real edge rotation that can keep pressure on offenses all 4 quarters. Let's be honest, unless Chicago pulls off a blockbuster for someone like Micah Parsons or Trey Hendrickson, which isn't happening, this edge group isn't going to become dominant overnight. But if you pair Sweat, Odeyingbo, and a battle-tested vet like Clowney or Smith, now you've got a group you can trust. A move like this wouldn't just help the starters, it creates a trickle-down effect. Younger players get time to grow, roles become clearer, and the entire unit gets stronger. So here's the bottom line. If Clowney is available and the price is right, the Bears should be all over it. And even if it ends up being someone else with that kind of experience and production, it could be the kind of late move that pays off in December, when games matter most. As for now, keep your eyes on the DJ Chark situation and the possibility of a veteran pass rusher being added. The Bears may not be done yet, and every small piece could make a big difference this season.